Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer ScrappinCain. Today I'm sharing 30 days of sketches. This is another double page sketch, and the sketch is my very own. I created this sketch for the series this month, and today is my day 29. And this will actually be the last sketch that I do of the month. I will have an additional 4 layouts up for the next 2 days of the month, but they will not be following a sketch. Here I'm just showing you the photos that I plan on using, and I thought I had 3 photos for down at the bottom, but I actually only have 2 where it shows 3 little photos, and I'm going to make it work with an embellishment instead. But I do have a total of 6 photos for the layout, and one of them is a 4x6. So this is for my older son's album, and this is probably one of the last pumpkin patch trips that we took to the pumpkin patch before his brother was born. So I'm showing you lots of ephemera pieces, and I'm going to use a collection called Homestead Harvest from American Crafts, and I believe it came out 2 years ago. But it was still available online, at least pieces of it, and the 6x8 pad. I actually don't have the 6x8 pad. I had probably 5 or 6 of the 12x12 sheets, and part of it came in a kit from Not Just for Boys. And then I bought additional pieces because I enjoyed using it so much. And it's really like a pastel colors more than like bright, vibrant brown or orange colors, and it's kind of unique and different. My only issue with it is a lot of it is home based, so it's like home sweet home, grateful, blessed, thankful, sweater weather. There's some that say like crispy or I love fall most of all, which is one of the ones that I end up using on this layout, and enjoy the small things. But other than that, it really doesn't work. The ephemera pieces don't really work for a pumpkin patch. There are pumpkins in the stickers and definitely in the embellishments and stuff, but not the sayings. There's only 1 or 2 sayings that were pumpkin related, and I believe I used them on my great niece's layout that I did earlier in the month. So on his, I'm going to use a lot of the flowers, which I kind of liked in this collection. Um, I guess they're pretty flowers, but they're not girly flowers. If there's such a thing, I don't know if there's such a thing, but there is lots of leaves also, and then there's mushrooms. So, and leaves are my favorite. That's why I chose this paper here for the left and right side, which is how I had it in the sketch. And this is usually my go-to style for a double page layout, especially if I don't have um, the centerpiece, because the center ends up being pretty much a 12x12 in the middle. If I only have one paper for the middle, then I'll figure out 2 other papers that I can cut and make them work for the sides. So, but on this one, I actually had 2 12x12 wood grains that were from Simple Stories, and they matched the dirt in the background of the photos perfectly, so I went with that. And I'm going to mat my photos differently. Each photo is going to get a different mat. The main photo, this one here, is getting a green layer and then a little tiny layer at the torn edge of leaves. And they have all the colors, and then it's going to be put on peach, like a peachy pink color. And I thought I was going to be able to tuck it in, but instead I have to do exactly how the sketch shows, and that means it's going to go on top of that edge. If I tucked it in, too much of my son's photo was covered, and you couldn't see him on the little pedal car, as they call these. They look like little tractors, but you can pedal them, and he enjoyed riding them around. They definitely, you can move the seat up, and you can move the pedals. On some of the bikes, you can adjust the pedals. So smaller kids can ride them, but they're definitely made for older kids like 10 and up. But he really enjoyed riding it around. And on these 2 small ones, I'm going to actually double mat each of them, but differently. One is in peach and green, and one is in yellow and blue. And I'm going to place them down at the bottom. And then the top left and the bottom right photo only got single mats. And that's just the way that I usually do my mats on the layout. Is if I'm going to have multiple photos, I want each photo to have its own reason to look at that photo. So I'm going to either make them different with the mats or the clusters or something to bring your attention over there. And I will also bring clusters in, which you'll see here in just a minute once I get done matting this photo here. Both of these little photos, I wanted them to be exactly the same, just different colors, since they're the same size. And one, he's like kind of riding away from me, and one, he's looking at me. Um, and the same thing with the two photos up at the top on the left-hand side. One, he's kind of looking down, and one, he's looking towards me. Kind of looks the same as the larger photo and the other photo, but I could have probably did a layout with just one photo and explained where we were, but that's not usually how I like to scrapbook. Plus, he doesn't have very many photos. Once he got to age 12, he definitely was not taking photos for me unless I was able to get the photos because he had no choice. Like these, he was out riding a bike and I could take photos of him. Or while he was playing football, I would take photos of him. So that's mainly what his 11, probably 10 to 12-year-old albums are all about, is football and any kind of family outings. Other than that, he didn't take photos for me. And I did play with the clusters beforehand, so I kind of know what I want to do or the idea that I want to have. That's why you saw me grab my phone. I had a picture on my phone of the layout with the clusters in place. So I was pulling that down to reference back to it. And this little circle in the middle does have lines on it for journaling. And I'm not sure I'll put anything like journaling. I'll probably put the year on that little circle, and then I'll put the journaling right underneath the title. And I haven't put the title on yet, but it's going to go basically in the center on the left-hand side. And I'm not sure if that's where, I think I had the journaling where that circle is. That's why I put the circle there with the little pumpkin cluster, but I'm actually going to probably just put the year on there. And we went to this particular farm all the time. This is Miller Farm. We probably went there probably 4 or 5 years in a row, or at least every other year, a couple of years in a row. It definitely was one of our favorites, so we went there a lot. So there's not really a lot of journaling. This is the one that had the Crocs with my younger son when I did all those photos. And they did not have the crock pile when we went this year for these photos here. So there you saw that I'm putting square foam that says I love fall most of all. And I'm going to place it there down by the two smaller photos. Those photos are 2x3. And then they're matted up, so they're probably two, closer to 2.5 by 3.5, if I had to guess, roughly. And then this little square is going to fit perfectly at the end. I thought it was going to work on this like frame that comes in the ephemera pack, but I'm actually going to trim off the flower part since the flower is a smaller version of that paper, the paper that's on the left and the right. And it was clashing with it. It definitely did not look good. So I decided I wasn't going to use that, but I wanted the white frame to pop up the little saying, and I placed the pumpkin behind it because I already have a pumpkin cluster that looks exactly like that one on the other side. As you can see, it's on the right side by the bottom photo. So I didn't think I needed two of those, but I definitely like the leaves, and the little title piece actually looks kind of cute right there, or the little saying. I guess it's not really a title piece. And then up at the top, I am tucking in a little white sticker that has mushrooms and flowers on it, along with enjoy the small things, a little bunny rabbit, And then I'm going to go over here to the left-hand side because I can never seem to work just in one area. I have to keep bouncing back and forth unless I put them together beforehand and I keep them in the cluster piles, which this one, for some reason, I didn't. I just kind of tossed them to the side and inked up what I needed to ink up, which was all the tags are inked and some of the littler embellishments, like the little acorns and the little title that says love this, or the little banner that says love this, is inked up. Other than that, nothing else is inked up. It already has a white border around it, so I just left it. So here I'm just tucking in a few more of the little acorn, a little like branch down at the bottom over there. I'm going to go off camera, glue it all down, and I'll come back. And then I'll explain where I moved a couple of clusters because a couple of the clusters are not going to stay exactly where they're at right now, which I will show here in just a minute. And I'll also bring in my alpha for the titles. So this alpha is from Vicky Booten, her latest Christmas collection, ribbons and what is that? Wrapped in ribbons, I think is what it's called. Um, I love it. It's black foam and it has little gold dots on the letters. Actually, I need to order another one because I thought it was just plain black, but it's actually the black and the gold, which is one of my favorites. But the letters are also different sizes, so they're not all the same size. Some are smaller and bigger than others. So I like that, but they are all capitals. There's no lowercase letters on this set. But there is numbers in little circles, and they're really good. I really like them. So I'm definitely going to order more. But I am going to title this layout Miller Time, and that's just because kind of the play on the advertisement for Miller Beer. But also because I have so many layouts for Miller Farms that I didn't want to just title it Miller Farms, or I could have titled it, I guess, Pedal Cars. But I think it's kind of self explanatory what he's doing in the photos. So I titled it Miller Time because that was, kind of what we referenced it to, is it was going to be Miller Time. We're going to go play at Miller Farm for the day. And usually it was a field trip. So usually I was taking kids from a local school that I bus, and we rode on the bus. So we got a free trip there. Plus, as a bus driver, they allowed me to take my son with me, and also they allowed him to play free of charge. So, and we also got to go out on the hayride to the harvest and pick our own potatoes and carrots, and we also got a free pumpkin. And we also bought another pumpkin while we were there because usually we had two or three pumpkins. And they had great pumpkins. So, but I loved all their vegetables that they would let us get. So over here by the title piece, I'm going to add a few more little flowers that I have left over just because I don't want to put them back in my stash. I'd rather just use them on the layout. And then this little black and white wreath looking thing, right in the middle of it, it says I love fall most of all. But since I have I love fall most of all on the orange piece right below it, I thought it made kind of a cute little wreath to place right there and then place the pumpkins right on top of it. And they actually fit right in the center of it perfectly. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll have white there right underneath the M, and then the white, like berries or sticks. I'm not sure what those are. I guess they're like berries. The little branch coming out of the E over by time. Awesome. So it kind of balances it out. These are the sequins I'm going to use for today. This is fall cider. And then I'm bringing one from my stash, which is caramel corn. I've been trying to kind of use it all month long to get it used up. And I actually skipped my design team day on Spiegelmom Scraps. So sorry, Jody. Um, So I told her I would use Sequins the rest of the month, which I love Sequins. And at any time, you can use my code Jennifer15 and save 15% on Sequins. Fall cider is still available in the shop, along with a few others that are still in the shop. And she also has November available for pre-sale. In November, if you buy it in the bundle on a pre-sale, it's already discounted. So the Jennifer 15 won't discount it anymore, but you do get it at a discount if you buy it together. And the November ones are really pretty. And I will be using those here at the end of the week. But here's a little close up. I'm gonna hold it up so you can see it. I'm pretty much done with the layout. And you might notice in the close ups that some of the sequin clusters are going to move just slightly. The one over by Miller Time, I actually moved up to the top of the M right underneath the flowers and added all 5 of the colors of sequins there instead of just the 2 that I had down at the bottom. And then the one over on the bottom right, I took off completely. I just decided it didn't look balanced. It was too close to the bottom, so I just removed it. But other than that, here's a few close-ups. Hope you guys enjoyed today's layout, and I'm excited to see how people used my sketch today. And there is a playlist down below for 30 days of sketches. And again, you can always use my code for Spiegelmom Scraps and save 15%. So check out the shop, pick up your own sequins. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.